Hey guys, Mindset Mona here from helpingpsychology.com. I want to share today with you how to regain your love back for sport. Now, if you've been in the sporting world for many years, or you maybe just started training and maybe you are a recreational athlete and you've lost your love for competing, you've maybe lost your love for actually like going to the gym or just like rocking up at your favorite just at your favorite team to do a training session. I want to talk to you today about how to regain that love back. And I have experience in 3 different sports as an elite level athlete and over 23 years of experience. And then also like 15 years of coaching experience, as well as an honors degree in sports psychology. And the mind has been something that has been of interest for me for many years, and that is why I want to share with you not just my feelings, but also from a sports psychology perspective, why a person loses their love for the game. Now, I can guarantee you, in my 23 years of being an elite level athlete, I have fallen out of love with the sport many times, and I've gone back to the sport many times. And the sport I've been doing the longest is Olympic weightlifting. I've been doing it for 22 years. And there's been time in my life where, especially when I was training really hard for international competitions and I was just pushing my body to the extremes, that I started to doubt myself and question, why am I even doing all this work? Why am I breaking my body daily? Maybe I could be spending my money on other things and not, just on recovery and on tours and stuff like that, because obviously with our sport it's not funded, so a lot of our own funds had to go into our sport. Even as an elite level athlete and a Commonwealth medalist, I had to fund most of my competitions, and it becomes tough. And you think to yourself, I could have used that money for so many other things in my life, but the reason I didn't was because I love weightlifting, I love the sport, and I need to figure out, like, is this even worth it for me? Like, is it worth it waking up early in the morning, doing a training session in the morning and then again in the afternoon, always waking up with niggles and just, feeling really sore, and just, sacrificing everything that I've been sacrificing my whole life for like over 20 years. You sacrifice going out with friends, you sacrifice, you don't drink alcohol, you don't go and party, you try and do all the good things to make sure that everything you do is there at the end to help your sport. And I believe that that is what an elite level athlete should do. You make these sacrifices for the greater good. But in sport, it doesn't always work out the way as you planned. So you might have been working for 4 years for an Olympic Games, or for 4 years for a Commonwealth Games, just to, walk onto the stage as an Olympic weightlifter and like bomb out. Or, go against an opponent. Maybe you do a team sport and lose against that opponent that you didn't think or ever imagine that you would lose against that person. And I also do believe that at the end of the day, even with all of these external factors, the biggest opponent is definitely in our minds, because it's as soon as this opponent has beaten us, and that's when we start to feel defeated. That's when we start to feel demotivated, and that's where we start to lose our love for the game. So by finding out why you started in the first place is probably the most important thing that you can do if you fall out of love with your sport. Going back to the drawing board, figuring out what needs to change in order for you to love your sport again. So like, for instance, for me, after working towards the Olympics and working over 20 years and then missing the Olympics with one spot, one spot I missed out at the Olympics, and it was heartbreaking for me. I mean, I have literally sacrificed over 20 years of my life to get into the Olympic team. I was a Commonwealth Games medalist. I was standing a really good chance, but after the Commonwealth Games, I had injury after injury, which really like made me just feel negative around training and pushing my body to those extremes, like I said, I was starting to question, why do I go into the gym every day and push my body the way that I do? I'm sore all the time. I've been getting injury after injury, and it's not that I don't take care of my body. It's just natural wear and tear that I have gotten from, over 23 years of being an elite level athlete, training twice a day, and pushing my bodies to the extreme. And that is what I wanted to do. I loved doing it. I love putting my body, on the line and pushing it to its limits. And that is what elite athletes ultimately do. You do that for the greater good, and you do it to achieve those big goals. But when things start to not go your way, like getting injuries or not being selected for teams, and you just start to really doubt yourself, and like I said, that opponent in your mind wins and it defeats you, that is when you need to go back to the drawing board and go and reassess your life. Go and reassess your why, reassess, why you started in the first place. And honestly, every single time I've done that and I've made these necessary changes, I came back to the sport better, and I came back to the sport loving it even more. And what I did was I would take a bit of a break, really clear my mind. I'm a big fan of having quiet time, journaling, also seeing a sports psychologist, talking to a professional, talking to my coaches, because at the end of the day, communicating with these people, and you are at the end of the day also a team. And if you can communicate these things with your coaches and your team or your sports psychologist, it just makes things so much easier to not just keep that feeling to yourself, and know that you can also trust these people in your circle that can help you, give you good advice, and ultimately, help you regain your love back for the sport. Now, for example, if maybe you've been selected for a team sport and you are not a big fan of the coach, you and the coach might not get along, or you and some of the teammates, that definitely is a different story. What you can do is you can try and sit down with the coach, talk to the coach about how you feel, or maybe someone who the coach can trust, who they talk to, maybe go and speak to like the assistant coach, someone that you can trust and someone that you feel like you can open up to, just to kind of put your heart on the line, let them know, because you love this sport, but things has just not gone your way and you're starting to not love the sport as much. And, you don't want to stop, but you do want to, you don't want to also continue and not love what you do. So the best thing that you can do is sit, your coach down, sit with your teammates, talk to them. It's also a great way to increase team cohesion, having that openness, talking about what's going on in the team, talking about the team dynamic, also knowing what is your purpose in the team, what is your role in the team. Sometimes maybe just setting a different goal might actually help you get through that rut. It definitely helped me when I set a goal towards a competition. I start to feel motivated again, and my whole motivation around training changes. I love waking up in the mornings. I love going to the gym. It's my happy time. It's my me time. It's my outlet time. And I've just always been like that. And even though I have this goal, I have this outcome that I'm focusing on, I try and actually not focus on it. I try and focus on the process. And because I've been in the sport for so long, I try and focus more on the process than actually the outcome goal, because I actually do want to enjoy the process. I want to wake up in the morning and I want to enjoy what I do. I want to enjoy eating healthy for my sport. I want to enjoy knowing that, all these things that I do to help my recovery, sleeping early at night, waking up early in the mornings, all of this is going to be conducive to helping me become a better athlete. And also, your mindset tends to change over the years. Like, if something doesn't go your way, you get over it a lot quicker. I mean, even though I trained for the Olympics and I missed out on the Olympics with one spot, I realized that, I've given my heart and soul for this sport. I love this sport. I won't, change it for the world. Yes, I would have loved to have been in that team. But I also know that maybe there's something bigger out there for me. There's something bigger with regards to me being a voice for athletes, me being able to help other athletes who might be going through similar situations, athletes who have gone through, really bad times in their sporting career, athletes who are maybe wanting to retire, athletes who are injured. I can help these athletes mentally through all of these things. And that is how sport has opened up many doors for me. So even though I missed the Olympics, and it did take me some time to realize what my actual purpose is, because I thought to myself after missing it, what is my purpose? Like, maybe I should just quit this sport, for good, because I didn't make it. It's going to be another 4 years of training towards the next Olympics. I've been in the sport for 23 years. Can I do this for another 4 years to make it 27 years? And the answer is yes, I can, but I can also change my focus. I can now focus on helping others as a coach and as a mindset coach. And I believe that that is such a valuable role, and that is something that I take seriously. And I, as a person, I continue to grow. I continue to evolve, and everything that I go through, like I said, I can then help other athletes go through this and have a different outcome. I can provide them with the tools that I've used to help me get through tough situations, the tools that I've used to become resilient, and just give them the tools to help them deal with things like anxiety, stress, and maybe if they are just feeling like they are in a slump and they just need that extra motivation, I can then help athletes with those things and just play a small role or a part in them reaching their goals. So yes, at the end of the day, guys, in conclusion, when it comes to your sport, there will definitely be times in your career when you will fall out of love with your sport. You won't always be in love with that sport. It won't be your favorite thing, especially if everything doesn't always go your way. And if you've been in sport for a long time, you'll see that progress isn't always linear in sport. It looks like this. It looks like an up and down curve, and there's some bad times, and then some really bad times, and then some good times, and then some really good times, and this keeps varying. And that is also the beauty of sport. That's the beauty of challenging ourselves. It's the beauty of putting ourselves on the line and actually, putting ourselves out there. So there's a lot of amazing things when it comes to being an athlete. There's a lot of rewards, and even the stuff that we go through. I believe that failure is inevitable. Everyone will fail at least once in their life, but you need to take that failure as a learning opportunity to make you a better athlete. And if you can do that, and if you can, like I said, go back to the drawing board and just try and figure out why you started in the first place, what made you fall in love with that sport, it can really change things for you. But then not just figuring out why you started, but then having to make those necessary changes in order to make you fall in love with the sport again. Even if you have to take a step back, even if you have to maybe change coaches or clubs or anything like that, sometimes you have to make these changes in order to find your why again, find your happiness, find your love for the sport again. So guys, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to my video, watching my YouTube video, listening to my podcast if you're listening to it on podcast. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, ring that notification bell, and also share it with friends, athletes, anyone who you might feel might need to hear this message today. And I hope that if you are in a rut at the moment, or not knowing if you still love your sport or not, that you will go back to the drawing board, and before you end up quitting, try and figure out why you started in the first place, because there is a possibility that you can regain that love back for your sport. Thank you guys. I appreciate all the support, and I will see you in the next one.